G'day kids and mums and dads, Aaron here from Charlie Boots. Thank you for tuning in to another one of our online instructional videos. These videos are at the heart of what we do here at Charlie Boots. We're all about kids learning amazing new creative skills in the comfort of home using your New South Wales Creative Kids voucher. So today we're going to turn up the fashion dial and work on 4 different ways to customize your champion hoodie. This is going to be pretty cool. Stick around. So things you're going to need, of course, is your Charlie Boots Champion hoodie, which you have got in your kit. This is, we're using a 2XL adult size, so yours probably won't be this big, but this is just the one I happen to pick up from our warehouse. You'll need a piece of cardboard or something to put in between the layers of the hoodie so you don't get any color going through. You'll of course need your plastic protectors. Now with these, you need to take the plastic off, make sure you put the plastic in the bin, and you have to shake them really well and then punch touch the nib several times until the paint starts to float. So you need both of those. And before you get started, you need to do 2 things. You need to practice your designs like I've done here, and I'll show you that in a close-up. And you also need to wash and dry your champion hoodie before you start. So if you haven't done that yet, stop the video and get mum and dad to put this in the wash. It needs to be washed properly normally, and then needs to be dried before you can start designing on it. Otherwise you may find that some of the colors may run. So if you haven't done that, stop the video and get it washed and then come back in when it's all done. But if you have, then let's get stuck into it. And I'm going to move the camera around so you can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to show you these designs that I've come up with. Okay, so the key to doing this really well and making your jumper look amazing is to keep it simple. You'll find and you'll see that a lot of fashion designs, they keep things simple so it's easy to understand and easy to actually do. So I've got 4 different designs here that I want you guys to have a look at, and it gives you a bit of a start and some inspiration to what you can do. So starting up here, we've got just some simple words. If you want to share a message, good vibes, or you're the man, or I love my mum and dad, whatever it is. That is such a popular way for designers to customize their clothing, and it's about you putting the message you want on your jumper and then getting stuck into it and doing it. And it's really quite as simple as drawing out the letters and using both colors to add a bit of depth in behind the letters. And it's as simple as that, and you can even color them in if you want, or you can leave them outlined. But design number 1, nice and simple. Design number 2, I really like this one. It's just, there's no need to really overthink it. It's just a bunch of eyes, so a similar kind of oval shape for each one, and then making all of them different, and then having some ways to connect each of the eyes. Now, you probably wouldn't do it as tight as this on the actual jumper, but I just wanted to show you and getting as much in there as I could about different ways of doing that. And you can see I'm using both the textures in there to highlight and accentuate some different features in there. I think that looks really cool. And for this kind of thing, you could possibly do it on the sleeves only. You don't need to be putting your design in the middle here or on the back, on the front or the back. You can use the sleeves, you can do certain parts around the top, you can even do the hood itself only, so there's lots of different ways to do it. I really like that one. I think this is a really nice simple one where you've got a dandelion, and it's the dandelion, the little seedlings are blowing off in the wind, and I've made the seedlings a different color, the gold, and the dandelion sort of flower as a white. I think that's really cool. And then I've got a really cheesy Christmas kind of style design here where I've just taken a really simple diamond shape, added a bit of geometric outlining to it, and then extending it out, and that would look pretty cool going right across the middle of the hoodie in through here. So 4 different designs, but by no means are you limited to these designs. The good thing about art and fashion design is that you can do whatever it is you want. Just make sure you realize that as soon as you start, you're putting a permanent marker on some clothing. And in this case, it's quite a high quality, expensive hoodie that you don't want to make any mistakes. So do your drawings first, really think about it, and then get stuck into it. So that's what we're going to do right now. And I think the first one I'm going to do, so I've got one jumper here, so I'm going to try and use this one jumper to do all four and demonstrate how to do it actually on the jumper. And it's up to you guys where you decide you want to do your designs. So let's get stuck into it. All right, so let's start with our first design. And of course, we're going to put our piece of cardboard in underneath. So I'll do that now. The cardboard's a bit dusty. Okay. So you can see here, I'm really straightening out my hoodie. And what I'm going to actually do is once I've got my cardboard in here, so I don't have to reach too far. Put the cardboard in. So I'm going to position that where I'm going to do my design, and I can feel the edges of the cardboard in through here. And then I'm going to fold these parts in and under, and that's going to help actually stretch and keep that flat on there, like so. And if you had some clothespins, I would definitely recommend getting some clothespins and pegging your hoodie to a piece of cardboard underneath, and that'll help keep it in the right position. Now you're going to make sure as well that you've got this centered, so make sure that you know exactly where the center is of your hoodie before you peg it down and before you start doing your design. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do my my dandelion one here. That's my plan. So, good shake. Make sure I've got plenty of colour flowing. And really quite simple. We're going to draw a curved stem here, a little bit to the left side because here's the centre of our work. So we'll draw a stem here and a circle, and then we'll draw some of the dandelion seedlings out top, and then some of them blowing in the wind. So we'll get into it. And we're going to draw the center. So with the Poscas, sometimes you have to wait to let more paint go into the tip. So I'm going to put my gold away for a second, give my white a really good shake, and then I'm going to go over these sections again. So there's our stem, and we've got our little stalks heading off it. Now it's time to, I'll just pan the camera around. Over here, we're going to start putting our stems and our stalks that have been blowing off in the wind over this way. But I'm going to let my Poscas rest for a bit first. So I'm going to come back in 5 minutes and then keep on going. You'll see here when I'm doing these designs too, I'm making the base here, which used to be connected to the flower, a bit fatter. It makes it look just that little bit more realistic. And there you have it, there's design number one. So we'll let that dry. Very important thing to remember with these is that you need to let these dry, and then with a dry iron, that means there's no steam, mum and dad need to iron these, and that will help seal the colours into the jumper. Okay, so it's time to move on to our next design, and for that I flipped over my hoodie. I put my cardboard underneath, and I've got these clamps here holding it in place, so it's nice and tight. And I'm using the center line on the hoodie itself, the hood, to know that this is the center line of the back of my jumper, so I know where I want to put my text. So I'm going to do my good vibes here, and I want to make sure that I'm using this middle line here, so I spread them out. So I want to have the word good up here, and then vibes underneath. And I want to make sure I use this whole space here. I don't make it too small. So let's start and start with the G. And the good thing about this is that your style is your style. The way that you do it, it's not right or wrong, it's the way you want to do it, and that's okay. So if you do the letters a bit different to somebody else, that's totally fine. This is all up to how you want to customize your hoodie and how you want to turn your hoodie into something fashionable that suits you. And you'll see here that I'm just doing it lightly, and then I'll come back over to put some more thickness and color into those lines. Onto the inside of our letters. And it's a lot easier if you're using the cardboard and the clamps to hold everything down. You find that it won't pull and stretch the fabric, and every now and then you will get a little bit of fluff collecting on the tip of the Posca, so just remove that. So you can see I'm using all the space here, I'm not making it too small. Keep that ink flowing, there we go. Always need a good shake from time to time. And when you're doing block letters like these, you need to do things a bit wider, a bit different than if you're just writing a normal letter. For example, an E. You have to allow for the fact you need to come back in and do the inside part of the E. Like so. Now the tricky one is the S, because you can get really mixed up with doing an S. So I find the best way to do it is to start at the top. And just fold it around. If you need to, practice on a piece of paper, like I've done here, your block letters, just to get it right. You certainly don't want to make a mistake on your hoodie with these Posca pens. The wonderful thing about these Poscas is that they do write well on fabric, really well, but if you make a mistake, it's going to be left there. So we want to make sure we practice before we actually start drawing on our hoodie. And now it's just a case of going over these lines some more. There's a little bit of fluff building up on the tip. Keep the paint flowing. And remember, Poscas actually use a really high quality paint, which is why they're able to work on pretty much every surface, especially fabric. And like in some of our other kits, we've got our skateboards, we've got our t-shirts, we've got our baseball caps, our trucker's cap actually works on all of those really well. And of course on paper, on canvas. And you see here, I'm not resting my hand on the hoodie, because until that Posca paint dries, it will smudge. So I'm keeping my arm up off the hoodie and really just taking my time. You can see I'm not rushing here, kids. The key to any good artwork, and I've said this all along in all of our Charlie Boots instructional videos, is to take your time, don't rush. It's not about how fast you can do your art or your craft, it's about the result at the end and the fun that you have doing it. So the more patient you are with your craft, the more fun you have whilst you're doing it, and then the better the result will be when you're finished as well. So there's so many good reasons why you take your time, don't rush. So I've just chosen the words good vibes here because it's a nice fun slogan that we try and promote at our house here. Everybody always trying to be in a positive, happy, frame of mind. But you could write anything you want, as I said. It could be about your favorite footy team. It could be about your favorite pop star. This is your statement. This is what you want people to read when you're wearing your hoodie. So it can be anything you want. So I'm going to keep going over this a couple of times, and then often you'll have to put the lid back on, give it a good shake, let it rest for a bit, and then come back to it. So that's what we're going to do. And then after that, I'm going to use my white Posca to then fill in the background there. Alright, so I've gone over that now probably a good 3, 4, maybe even 5 times. You can see how bright that's popping out there, so that's looking really awesome. So I'll put my gold aside now, and it's time to give the white a good shake. Really good shake on the white. And then we're going to fill in and give the letters some 3 dimensions. And it's the easiest way to do that is just draw lines outwards from the letter and then connect them up. So you can either do the lines first or you can do the outline first. I find it's easier to do the lines first and then you draw an outline of it, but it's up to you guys. Let's get stuck into it. It's important to remember that these lines need to go behind the gold lines. They don't go over the top, and that's how you get that impression of 3 dimensions, that the words, the letters have depth. So you see how my lines here go in behind the letter D here from the letter O, and the same here and same here. We don't want to go over the top of them. It's important to try and get those lines all the same length as well. That's looking pretty cool. So obviously we'll need to go over that again to give that white a lot more pop. But let's get stuck into the vibes now. So there's our first coating of the white, and then just like with the other ones, we'll have to go over that several times more to get that colour to really pop. But we'll let that Posca rest for a bit, get that paint flowing in there again, and then we'll go over it one more time. But there you go. There's design number 2, our good vibes on the back of our hoodie, looking pretty awesome. Alright, on to design number 3, and for this I'm going to use my sleeve, and I need to cut up my piece of cardboard. So I'm just going to hold it over there and just put a little snip in the cardboard, not my hoodie, at either end, so I know where to trim it. So I'll just double check that. So I've got a little snip here to mark that point, and a little snip here to mark this point, and that looks about right. Now I just join those 2 cuts together. You can do this freehand, there's no need to draw a line. And the good thing is that once you've done it once, you can use this piece of cardboard for this sleeve and then for the other sleeve as well. So let's get that in there and set up ready for our next design. So we'll put our clamps back on, stretch the fabric so it's nice and tight, one there. And with this one, you probably get away with one clamp at the very end, you pull it tight over the piece of cardboard. Just like that, and fold it over. And for this one, I'm going to be drawing from the top down, doing my funky eye pattern here. So I'm going to start up here so I don't smudge, and I'm going to work my way down, just doing a bunch of funny, different, funky eyes here, just to really make the sleeves pop. So you can see the recurring theme and pattern we have here in this design, and that is you've got, we have some squiggly lines or some straight lines connecting each of the eyes vertically and horizontally, and they alternate. So if you look here, starting on the left, we've got some zigzags running horizontally, and then we have an eye design, some lines going down vertically, and then another eye. So it's alternating on the way down. And you see here, it starts with an eye first, and then some squiggle vertical lines, and then another eye, and then some squiggle horizontal lines, and then alternating again here. So that's what we want to replicate down our arm here. And you see, I'm going to start up right close to the seam here, because what would happen in the fashion world, this would get printed on to the fabric they used for the sleeves of the hoodie or whatever jumper they're making, and then they would cut the fabric out and then stitch it all up. So this design will be already there, and the design would go right from each stitch from up in the shoulder right down to the cuff down here. So we want to try and replicate that as well. So let's get started with our first eye. I want to keep these fairly big so you can get detail in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get started on the next eye before I complete that one, just so I can get a nice straight line coming down the sleeve. Another one. We have another one over here. And we're going to do some dots. Straight lines. Yeah, so let's add some detail into our eyes now. Don't forget, we need to leave some features for our gold texture as well, don't we? So you don't want to go all white because there's going to be gold in here as well. There's our first lot of eyes with our white. We'll put the white down for a second and add some gold highlights to it. Excuse me, add some gold highlights to it. Nice big shake. So just like with the other designs, if you feel you need to practice, definitely practice. You don't want to accidentally make a mistake when you're doing this. You want it to be well thought out, but still your design, you know? As long as you're happy with it at the end of the day, that's all that matters. You see here with the gold, I'm not trying to do too much, just a couple of little details on each eye. So now we're just going to continue doing those eyes all the way down. Pretty simple. And there we have design number 3. Some funky eye patterns on the sleeve. And remember, there's no right or wrong way to do this. If you want to customize those eyes any way you want, that's totally fine. This is your artwork, it's your hoodie. You do it just how you want. All right, let's get stuck onto the last one. So our last pattern is this funky geodetic design. And we're gonna have that running along the sleeve here. So I'm, excuse me, I'm centering my piece of cardboard, making sure it's right in the middle, and I'm going to fold over here, put my new clamp on. Obviously a closed peg will do the same job. And then up here on this end, put my clamps on here too. Okay. So it's important that we find the middle here. We're going to start off with our diamond in here. And then it's just about expanding that outwards along the length of the arm. And to mark the points of my diamond, I'm looking at my center line here, and I'm going to draw a dot here, and I want to get a dot on the center over here, and then I can go halfway, put a dot in the middle, and I'm going to do, so I can look at that, and that will end up being my diamond. And join the dots. Now with the colouring in of the diamond, you don't need to just do it all one way. You can certainly mix it up. You can even do some hash work like this, which I think looks really cool. Or you can colour the whole thing in solid. Entirely up to you guys. These geodetic type designs are quite fashionable. You always see them around. There'll be some kind of shape that's reoccurring in fashion. That's pretty much it. And it's just a case of expanding those lines as we've got here. So we've got a line, remember to keep your hand off the hoodie because we don't want to smudge our white Posca. And remember, we'll have to go over these lines a couple of times just to make sure that colour really pops. Stretch it out if you need to. And then we've got a smaller secondary line in behind that one. And then to finish it off, nice straight parallel lines, top and bottom. If you see the fabric bunching up in front of the texture, just lift the texture up. Don't try and push that fabric along. These kind of designs are really popular in tribal culture. You know, if you see a lot of Maori tattoos, you see a lot of straight lines, triangles, parallel lines intersecting each other. And that's that one. Alright kids, well there you have it. There's our 4 designs that we've done. So get stuck into doing your hoodie and make sure you send us your pictures. We'd love to see all the amazing work that our Charlie Boots community does and sends into us, and then we can share it on our social media pages as well. But if you have any questions, please give us a call or contact us via email. But until the next video, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.